Well, it's really funny you bring that up because it brings up a fear factor associated with change. You were talking about the whole change management concept in terms of even software development. And I do think there's to some degree, or you tell me, a resistance that you need to overcome, even among the software developers themselves. When you say you need to think differently, this is not how you've always done it. Often you get that resistance. Like, I know what I'm doing, back off. So how is, from the software developer standpoint, how do you deal with that resistance to change?
Well, I mean, that resistance exists in anybody. That is not just software developers. As an entrepreneur and a leader of a growing company, oh my God, I smack my head into that all the time, where it's like, here's this thing that's going to make our company so much better. And people are like, It's like, all right, so we have to go through a process of helping people understand why it's beneficial to them, why it'll make their lives easier, et cetera. And that's just like, I'm not a change management expert. In fact, I'm probably a change management victim, if anything. But I've definitely seen, that exactly what you're talking play out. So that's not necessarily a developer issue, but you are right that a lot of what we're talking about here does require everybody, developers included, to sort of change the way they think. And I have a lot of empathy for developers because I see what they go through, right? They have so many things on their plate. They have these just immense pressure to hit these deadlines. They have leadership teams that essentially dictate the priorities.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really commonly winds up on the plates of developers is this absurdity, which is, okay, the top priority is, of course, feature development, and you have to hit the milestone. Oh, also, you better make it secure. And and then when the developer's like, well, which do you want?
Yeah.
The leadership's like, well, both. And that's a very difficult direction to give. Now, not to say that they're in conflict with each other, because I actually believe that feature development and security actually dovetail with each other. But think about what it takes to become a software developer. You learn the principles of software development, and security is one piece of that, or in some cases, not at all even included. I mean, if you look at a computer science degree, there's usually not even more than one class, if any. So anyone who's like traditionally being trained in computer science, and then, so software developers definitely, they're not trained as security professionals, but they're expected to have the same level of understanding as security professionals. So how do we deal with that change? Well, first of all, we have to realize this isn't just like, hey, change your attitude. This is like, hey, we have to reskill and rewire our thinking. And so the way that I've seen that work really well is, rather than laying this entire burden on them and saying, oh, you also must make this secure, and figure it out. And by the way, all that time you spent learning how to be a software developer, it's going to take at least that much time, probably more, or at least that much time, let's say, to also become a security professional. So good luck sleeping. And so that's not really very viable. So what's oftentimes, I think, the better solution is to really provide access for the developers to your external security team. So pretty much any company should be hiring outside security consultants to help them with security testing and security consulting, design guidance, all those types of things, because you want that outside, independent, objective viewpoint. Expose the developers to those security professionals, because just by talking with each other, these ideas will transfer, knowledge will definitely transfer. And it also helps the developer like relax a little bit, because they're able to say, I know that I've got somebody who's looking out for me, which is, the security people looking out for the security part. It makes it so that it's less stressful and burdensome. So that's, again, I'm giving really long or detailed answers here, but that's a long way of saying that how we deal with change is as much about how we understand what the developers are dealing with, what they're going through, what's expected of them, what they're good at, as much as it is change management itself.